Sarajevo, a city of architecture, new technology, and militaristic importance. Truly, a city where a lot is going on. Nowadays, Sarajevo is located within Bosnia and Herzegovina, but back then, it was part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. The terrorists had fairly decent motives to be against the Austro-Hungarian Empire. This leads us to the organization that we know as the Black Hand. It was an anti-Austro-Hungarian organization that was mostly led by Serbians. Its main focus was spreading anti-Austro-Hungarian propaganda around the highly rebellious cities in Bosnia. You see, back during the times of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, a lot of ethnic minorities within the empire didn't really like being with the Austro-Hungarians and wanted their own nations. Unluckily for Austro-Hungary, one of the ethnic minorities were Serbians. Serbia had its own nation. However, within Austro-Hungary there lived a lot of ethnic Serbians who believed that some Austro-Hungarian lands should belong to the Kingdom of Serbia. However, Serbia was not the only rebellious ethnic minority. There were the Bosnians, the Poles, the Czechs, and many more. Similarly to Austro-Hungary, there was also the Ottoman Empire in the east. In the Balkan region, they were seen as tyrants. And so, during one of the independence wars, Bosnia has gained independence, but unfortunately for Bosnia, Austro-Hungary was quick to take over Bosnia before it could set up its own nation. This led to the ethnic Bosnians being pretty unhappy about this, and then they sought help from Serbia. Although Serbia has had Russia on its side, it couldn't do anything against the Austro-Hungarians, in fear of being crushed by them. And because of that, the Black Hand organization gained many more members, including a lot of Bosnians. Now, to move on to the assassination in Sarajevo, why did we pick Franz Ferdinand, or otherwise known as the Archduke of the Austro-Hungarian Empire? To the Austro-Hungarians, Franz Ferdinand was a really important figure. As an Archduke, he was the heir to the throne of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. This would mean that when the current emperor of the Austro-Hungarian Empire would die, Franz Ferdinand would be his successor and become the new emperor of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, gaining the crown. The Black Hand specifically targeted him because of his position. If they would be able to kill the Archduke of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, they would be able to cause the Austro-Hungarian hierarchy to go into shambles. The Black Hand also targeted him because they feared that when he would succeed his father as the emperor, he would go into a brutal campaign of wars to retake the Balkan region into the Austro-Hungarian Empire's complete dominance. However, little did they know that Archduke Franz Ferdinand was actually more of a pacifist figure rather than a brutal emperor. Now then, on to how Franz Ferdinand was assassinated on the 20th of June 1914. The date is the 20th of June 1914, and the Archduke Franz Ferdinand with his wife Sophia have just left the train station that they have arrived in. The general reason why the Archduke Franz Ferdinand was in Sarajevo at the time was to watch the performance of military exercises in his presence. It would be important in political terms for him to actually attend. During his visit in Sarajevo, Franz Ferdinand actually noticed that in front of his car was the car of 6 highly trained officers. However, this was no longer true, as there was only one highly trained officer and 3 local policemen. This was astonishing news to Franz Ferdinand, and he was quite angered about it, but he didn't mind it that much. Franz Ferdinand's route was published in the local newspaper, and the assassins were stationed along it. There were 7 assassins in total: Muhammad Medbasic, Nedeljko Kabrinovic, Vaso Kubrilovic, Kvieko Popovic, Gavrilo Princip, and Danilo Ilic, with Trivan Grabes. However, only 2 of the 7 assassins actually bothered to try and kill Franz Ferdinand. Everyone else hesitated. These 2 assassins were Nedeljko Gabrinovic and Gavrilo Princip. So in total, only 2 assassination attempts took place, and only 1 was successful. The first assassination attempt was right beside Komuria Bridge, where Gabrinovic threw a bomb at Franz Ferdinand's car. However, the bomb missed, and as the driver of Franz Ferdinand's car noticed the bomb, he stepped on the gas and got away. However, the bomb tumbled from Franz Ferdinand's car and hit the officers behind him. The Archduke was understandably angry about this, and as soon as we reached the town hall, he was very angry at the mayor. However, he didn't lose his nerve that much, and they continued their route. After this assassination attempt, the route has been changed. However, the drivers of Franz Ferdinand's car have not been informed. Meanwhile, after the first assassination attempt failed, Gavril Princip thought that it was all over, and so he decided to head over to a local store to buy a sandwich. The store was called Schiller's Delicatessen, which also translates to Schiller's Delicacies. However, little did Gavril Princip knew that the Archduke was about to be God sent right into his hands. So as Gavril Princip was eating his sandwich, he suddenly noticed something. Right in the corner of his eye was the Archduke Franz Ferdinand in his car with his wife Sophia. As it turns out, the driver of the Archduke's car took a wrong turn because he wasn't informed of a new route. As he was slowly backing up, Gavril Princip ran out of the sandwich store and pulled out his pistol, firing 2 bullets towards Sophia and his husband, Franz Ferdinand, killing both of them. Because the Black Hand organization was responsible for the assassination, and some of the members of the Black Hand were some of the Serbian high-ranking officers within the Serbian military, the Austro-Hungarians immediately blamed Serbia for the assassination. However, that wasn't the only problem for the Serbian government. The 2 assassins' fate wasn't that good. After Kabrinovic's attempt to assassinate the Archduke, he tried to swallow a cyanide pill that would instantly kill him. However, this cyanide pill was very out of date, and it actually only made him vomit. So instead, he tried to jump into the river, which was only like 6 inches deep, meaning that he wouldn't be able to drown, and soon enough, he was arrested by the authorities. Gavril Princip's fate wasn't that much different. Instead of swallowing a cyanide capsule, he was taken down by the massive crowd that soon turned into an angry mob, as they knew that he was the one who shot Franz Ferdinand and his wife Sophia. He was immediately pinned to the ground and his pistol was taken away from him. Sooner or later, he tried to swallow the cyanide capsule, but it didn't work because it was from the same batch as Kabrinovic's, which meant that sooner or later he started vomiting again, and then he was placed under arrest by the authorities. Not more than 1 month later, on July the 23rd, 1914, an Austro-Hungarian ambassador has sent an ultimatum to Serbia. The ambassador has made sure that all the terms in the ultimatum were almost impossible to accept, so that then Austro-Hungary would have the justification to declare war onto Serbia. And as Austro-Hungary expected, the Serbians declined. This led to the Austro-Hungarian Empire declaring war onto Serbia. And back during 1914, there were 2 main alliances, and Russia's main allies in the Balkans. This led to Austro-Hungary's Triple Alliance joining them in the war against Serbia and Montenegro, while Serbia and Montenegro called in the Triple Entente, Russia, France, and the UK to help them. Russia didn't hesitate to help, so they called in France and the UK, which sooner or later accepted the offer, and so World War I began.